When we get up in the morning, along with coffee, toast, and cake. If you're like the old Stone Roadie, you like to wake and bake. Now let's join Craig, Reed, and Griff Martin as we head out on the road. So sit right back, buckle right in. It's a Wake and Bake Morning Show. It's a Wake and Bake Morning Show. It's a Wake and Bake Morning Show. Good morning.
Rise and shine, everybody. It's time to Wake and Bake with Craig Reed and Griff Martin.
The Stone Roadie Show, podcast 329, and roll 'em if you got 'em. Alrighty then, Stone Roadie Dimension. Looky here. Hey, here it is. It's Monday, September the 29th. My name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the Stone Roadie. And with me, as always, my co-host, my co-pilot, and the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. So what the heck are we going to talk about on this fine Monday morning here, Griff?
Well, you might as well go ahead and get it out of the way that you're not going to be going to the monument.
Well, before we get into that, let me get into this other stuff here. I'm getting these donations. The donations. Yeah, I'm going to send everybody their money out here. I'm getting this together. And we got a donation. We got Kathy Keeble. She sent us in $100 to split between the survivors. There's 5 of them. So 5 divided by 20 is $100. So they all get $20 a piece from Kathy Keeble. And she sent that in a Christmas card.
Yeah, every little bit helps.
Yeah, Christmas, and she said it was a Merry Christmas to me. She sent that $100 in cash to the.
That'll just go right in your pocket.
That'll go right in my pocket. That's right. Yeah. That'll go right in my pocket. 5 Jeffersons right in my pocket there. Thank you, Kathy Keeble, for them 5 Jeffersons going right in my pocket.
She believes this, doesn't she, Craig? Thank you, Kathy. We appreciate you believing us.
And she went to the Willie Nelson show. And she sent me a magnet here. It says, "Will marijuana," what does it say? "Marijuana will not kill you unless you let a bale of it fall on you." Willie Nelson. And it's a little magnet thing.
Cool.
Pretty cool, yeah. And she sent me, she went to a Willie show, and she sent me this hat, and it says, "Smoke Show." That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And she's there, Smoke Show. And she sent me a T-shirt. She says, what's this say? It says something about like, "Roll me up and smoke me when I die."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, roll me up and smoke me when I die. It's a cool shirt, and I'd wear it. If it wasn't a medium. Because like I keep telling everybody that, I wear a medium shirt, a collar shirt, but in a T-shirt I wear a large. Now this will fit me, but I kind of look a little ridiculous because I'll be 75 here pretty soon, and it's, it's like a muscle shirt, and it's, kind of tight on me, so I won't be wearing it because it kind of looks like a black person with blonde hair.
Yeah, you don't want your bat wings flapping in the sleeves.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. So, anyways, and last week I went over the package that TP sent me, the bath set, but I didn't show that she sent me some more of that candy. I like that candy too.
Yeah,
pomegranate flavored dark chocolate. Yeah, that stuff's good. I'll be munching on that here a little bit.
I actually had a bag of that just the other day. I had a bag of that I got at Aldi's sells them.
But I was talking. I exaggerated a little. This is the papers. These are all those sheets of paper that from the donations. This is all of them. I said there was 200 of them. I exaggerated. There ain't that many, but that's them there. And Kathy Keeble, her. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Kathy Keeble. Let's see. That's hers right there. And then they go right in here. And all I got to do is just add all those up and divide them and then send out that money.
Yeah, Artimus.
To the survivors like they've already gotten. And if he would have took any trouble at all to ask Mark Frank, who he's known all his life, if he's gotten any money, Mark could told him, yeah, I've got close to 10 grand off that. He would have, but for some reason he just chooses to. Oh yeah, and what's irritating is like I had 3 people tell me that over the years they've we've only had this Stone Roadie show going for almost 3 years, but over that 3 years people have kind of asked Artimus if he has watched the Stone Roadie show, and every time somebody asks him that, he goes into the thing about the donations. He goes, somebody else told me that too. He said it goes right in my pocket, and then he goes into the underwear routine where I sold the band's underwear,
Yeah, it's a shtick.
And then Kathy Gotzi, she sent me a text where a guy actually said, I never got involved with the donations at the Stone Roadie show because I heard that it wasn't on the up and up. So. But I can't blame that all on Artimus because that's been going on. That went on Rockin' for a Reason, and that's where Artimus got it from them people. But he didn't try at all to figure it out. It was true. He just ran with it because that's what he wanted to do. He kind of wants to think everybody stabbed him in the back, but saying that I'm taking donations, you think what he went through, that he wouldn't be a proponent of, saying things about somebody that wasn't true, and you'd think he would, think twice about and investigate before he started, accusing things of things they did when they didn't do it, and but. Maybe he wants trying to make me know what it feels like to be accused of something I didn't do or something. But
hey, I never thought of that. That might be, you might have something there.
But I was always, and you can ask Chad. I've always never believed that about Artie. And never thought it was true, although he is involved with that party that's known for doing that stuff, so, and people in I know we're not going to go over any of those comments because there's no use of beating a dead horse. If anybody wants to, know what people said about in the comments, about the last show, about what they think about it, they can read the comments, but we don't need to go over it, But whatever, that's about all I got to.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I was looking at the comments this morning. I told Craig, we talked this morning, and I was. Got up early, and I was going to, write all the comments down that I thought that would be good to talk about. And I was looking at every one of them, and it's like just negative about Artemis, one right after another. Of course, then there's some jackasses in there, like the Trav Nugara jackass who, said Craig has sold 2,000 items. And Craig said, no, I haven't. I sold 3,000.
No, I've sold 2,200 over the last 20 years. You know?
But so I told Craig, I said, I'm not going to, the only comment that I want to talk about, and there's a few comments that people said at the end of the video, you can hear the guy saying, yeah, I pissed him off, and it's like it was a setup to piss him off. Well, that's the reason I left that in there, is because if anybody sees that original video, I don't want to have them come to me and go, you edited that out. And the guy did probably stir some shit, but the reason he did it was to get it on video of what Artimus is going around doing. And, he told us about it, and we kind of like sloughed it off, and he, wanted to show us, hey, this is happening. And so he didn't do it in a mean way. All he did was say, hey, Artimus, I donated $100, and why couldn't Artimus go, that's a great thing that you did, man. We appreciate people doing that for us plane crash survivors, blah, blah, blah. Instead, it was, that went right in Craig's pocket, and he steals our underwear and sells them, and they ain't even our underwear, and blah, blah, blah. He didn't have to go into the whole shtick spiel that he always does. So I don't want to hear anything about the guy set him up and torqued Artimus off, because Artimus don't need to be spewing the lies like that. But we don't want to bash Artimus. I don't know what it's like to be in a plane crash. He might have hit his head, and he might have saw something that, or his parents might not have bought him any toys when he was a baby or something, like Craig didn't buy Chad any toys, because Chad's always wanting everybody else's toys.
I imagine that was I'm sure it was a horrible sight that he had to go through.
Yeah. You don't know what people
I mean,
go through,
the movie,
right?
The movie isn't real. I mean, it's kind of, it shows an airplane crash, but it wasn't really what I remember about the Skynyrd crash being. It was, it portrays in there that there was a lot of chaos going on during the crash and a fight and stuff. That stuff never happened. It was real quiet, It was like everybody was real somber, like shit, we might die, But
well, that's the only thing that gets my dander up is I work pretty hard to raise money for plane crash survivors, and to have him going around taking the money out of the survivor's pocket because people aren't going to want to donate because they believe Artimus, that's not cool.
Well, we don't do this for the donations. We never did start this for the donations. That was the idea of the people that watched the podcast, and they said, like we said before, they thought we were going to be millionaires doing this podcast. And oh, by the way, there's, like I said before, we're about 10 months into this year and into those donations, and we get about between $50 and $70 a month. I haven't figured it up yet, but the Stone Roadie show only from YouTube only got maybe $500 really from donations, but that's going to go right to the survivors too. But we didn't ever start this for the donations. We just kind of started this to put out the stuff people wanted to know about Skynyrd that, there was a bunch of bullshit going on about. But
And then
But
people
hey, but
started
anyway,
wanting to donate.
I just want to mention this before I forget. Javier, hey Javier, you didn't tell me there was a painting in there with that jacket, and I was throwing the trash away today, and I looked in that box and found just Indian painting on kind of a
That
drum
looks like
head.
Gary.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. I said, oh, I said, what the hell is in the bottom of this box? And I go, oh shit, that's a painting. It's pretty cool. I hung up with it as soon as I like Indian stuff. So yeah, I didn't want to interrupt the conversation, but
Yeah, you almost threw it in the trash, huh?
hey, Javier, yeah, you didn't tell me you put that in there with it.
Kind of reminds me of when you go to Walmart, you know. For some reason, when you go to Walmart, you never get all your groceries. I don't know what it is. The cash register lady, you know, they don't tell you, hey, they could say, hey, there's a bag right there that you didn't get, but they would rather just let you walk off so they can gather all that stuff up at the end of the day and keep it themselves, I guess. I don't know. You guys put it in the comments if that's ever happened to you, because every time I go to Walmart, man, I check and still I'm missing something. You know, I don't know what it is. That little carousel thing is a bullshit idea. I don't like that carousel, man. I like the way they do it at the grocery store. You know, with the with the bag boy at anyway. Yeah, so yeah, we're not gonna go over any of the comments but we do appreciate all the comments. There was a lot of comments, like 200 comments, and the views were outstanding. But you guys like and subscribe, because YouTube does unsubscribe about more than half of the people that subscribe. You know, they for some reason they don't like our content, and they unsubscribe. So check and see if you've been unsubscribed, and then resubscribe if you don't mind, because
Yeah, we only get monetized about a third of the time. Well, I don't think our last 5 podcasts have been monetized. As far as on my end, it says you're not monetized, but they sure throw them commercials in there anyway.
yeah, because they're paying the people.
But they're not paying us for them. They
Yeah.
you know, they show the podcast and show their commercials, but then they don't monetize us.
Well, we've been playing music that's copyrighted, and you know, those, I guess the money's going to those people. And just like this podcast, we're not going to get monetized on it either, because at the end of this podcast, Craig, you've got that video that you did.
Yeah, I had those guitar guys from Lancaster, and last week, you know, I said Langford guitars as Lancaster guitars from New Zealand, and yeah, I won't spoil any of that. Why they did a little interview at the end and more or less tells everything about them, and stuff's really cool wood. My God, that stuff. Yeah, they build those tables out of that wood and they sell them for like $100,000 for these tables.
And Gene ran into that guy somewhere at some party or something, and he told him, "Hey, man, I want to go by Craig's house and show him this guitar." And yeah,
They drove 6 hours to get here, and then 6 hours to get home, and they were here for 4 hours. So
yeah. So the story on this guitar, is in New Zealand. There was a
New Zealand, and during the Ice Age, these guitars the wood is 30,000 years old, and then he makes these. This guy bought. You have to excuse me, I forget his name. God Almighty. He bought Lancaster guitars out of New Zealand, lock, stock, and barrel. He paid $1.2 million for the wood and all the pickups and everything. But there's only enough wood to make 50 guitars. And then the pickups and stuff. And then they're low impedance pickups, but they're active. So they're real cool, man.
He talks about the pickups. He talks about the wood, and I guess it was they found it in a mud bog, and when the glacier dried up or something, and then
Yeah, there's only one tree. I mean, that's what he got. He got enough wood for 50
and
guitars.
didn't they sell Metallica one of those guitars or
Three of
something?
them, from what I understand.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah.
just chump change for them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just pocket change. But yeah, so that video, it's about what, Craig, 20 minutes long at the end, and they talk about the guitar, and then they play it, and then they jam a little bit, and
Yeah, and my friend Frank is here too. I brought Frank over because, like I always say, I'm not a guitar player. So my buddy Frank McCracken, he lives over there where that train wreck happened. I talk about him every now and then. The one where the chemical spill was. He's the one that lives 800 feet from ground zero. Where
I
that,
thought I saw an eye growing out of his forehead there when he was playing.
so he's been buying a shitload of guitars here lately. But he's old school. He only buys, old Gibsons and Strats, and he likes those P90 pickups. So,
And
they were pretty impressed with his collection too.
and they were out there in Craig's new man cave out
Oh yeah,
there.
they were out in my tool shed. It was raining, and they had all that stuff, and I go, shit, I'll just unload them here in my tool shed. It's not bad out there, and we set
Yeah,
up.
you got some pretty good electric out there, you know.
Yeah, it's it's nice out there.
Yeah,
It
it
was
seemed like
easy
it
to
was really
carry
nice.
everything in and out. They just opened their trunk and put it in the door. To drag everything in the house would have been a pain in the ass,
Yeah.
but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so kind of interesting. You guys stick around for that there. And so not a whole lot to really talk about other than the next thing is Craig, you say you're not going to the monument. What's up,
Man,
man?
I've got stuff that's well. I've had a lot of extra expense this year, and I got some money put away for emergencies that I'm not going to touch. But all my play money is kind of been eaten up by stuff that was unexpected this year, and man, I just don't. My dogs are, if it wasn't for the dogs, I could go, but I don't have nobody to watch my dogs. It'd cost me $100 a day to get a dog service to come in here and take care of my dogs, and I'll be gone 10 days. That's $1,000 just to take care of my dogs, and then the plane flights down there, and then renting cars and hotels. Man, I'd be spending 3 or 4 grand to go down there this time again.
Well, you got plenty of that extra money that you just put in your pocket.
First time I went down there, it cost me $13,000 blowing my engine up, and then to top that off, somebody ran into my rental car, and that was about $5,000, but that went on my insurance. But my God, that was an expensive trip. I just don't feel like spending $3,000 or $4,000 to go down there to sit in the middle of nowhere for 4 days, because that's where it is. It's where the plane crashed. It's in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Well,
And
don't let that deter you guys from coming. I'll still be there. And and I'm going to have that jersey back there that Pete Semino sent us, and I'm going to have a little display table set up, and there's going to be plenty of people coming. It's going to be a big hoopla. There's going to be all kinds of bands and food trucks. It's going to be, we're hoping for nice weather. Usually is nice weather. And we're going to raffle off that jersey there. Gene's going to be selling T-shirts and books and posters. And I hear Mark Howard's got a bunch of shirts he's bringing. I think Mark Frank's got some shirts he's bringing. I could be wrong about that, but I thought that's what I heard. And
yeah,
it's
Mark
always-
Frank's got Dave the Disciple supposedly set Mark Frank up with a table and a video monitor system
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
and a
You
whole.
know, you
No,
guys.
I had a good time the last time I was down there, but you know, I just can't do it this time. It's just not
Well, yeah, we're
feasible
gonna
for
miss
me.
you, Craig. Man, damn. You know.
I tried. I was all set up. I was going to rent a car and go down and ride down there with Robert Wheatley in his mobile home, and then rent a car and then get a hotel room and then Chad and Lisa and Tanner were going to stay with him in the mobile home for a couple of days, and then I was going to go stay with him. But I've been having, I'll tell you the truth, I've been having stomach issues, man,
I told you your butthole was going to grow together if you didn't start eating, man.
and
You're also looking kind of smoky. I don't
yeah, I
know what
was
it is.
noticing that. What the heck's going on here? I don't know
There's
what's
too much weed. You're turning into a puff of smoke.
something with the lights or something. I don't know what's happening here.
You're fading away, man.
I have
It's
to
all
turn
that
one of these
weed.
lights off or something. Yeah, I'm
You're
all
turning
weird,
into
man.
a ghost.
What the heck happened to these lights? Oh boy, let me try to fix this. Here, hold on a second. Look at this.
Well, yeah, Craig, I tell you what, man, we ain't got much else left to talk about. Why don't we just go ahead and wrap it up and go into the video, and you can just go ahead and fade off into the sunset.
Wow, what the heck's going on? Yeah. That's crazy.
Oh God. It's kind of like what was that TV show where the kid ate the everlasting gobstopper and turned into a big plum or something? You're turning
What the
into a
heck's going on with
puff of
this?
smoke.
That's weird.
All right, well, you guys
Oh
stand
well.
by there for the video here at the end, and I'll work on trying to talk Craig into going to the monument. We'll see what happens there, but yeah.
If I could work out something with my dogs, that's the big thing. I'm not gonna put them in a kennel. That's just out of the question.
Bring them with you, man.
No, they're a pain in the butt.
You can stick them under your shirt and get on the plane.
No.
All right, happy trails.
Yeah, yeah. We'll just go on with this video, and we'll see you later, alligator, after wild crocodile. Until next week. Here comes the video, and
You're
that's
starting
a
to come
wrap.
back a little bit now. As you're starting to look normal.
Oh well, whatever. We don't got nothing else to talk about, so
Right. Okay.
all righty.
That is something.
That's
Wow.
liquid glass.
Liquid glass.
Yeah.
Wow.
It takes up to a year to build one from scratch.
I seen he had a pile of them there hanging on the wall.
Yes.
You know,
Well, him and his son, you
Well,
know,
who's Too Slim and the Tail Draggers? I guess he's a guy that plays them. No,
There's a
don't
lot of
sound
people-
familiar.
no.
Okay, there was a thing. If you look up, when I seen videos of him, he was playing Reverend guitars, and I was going to question. I don't know if you guys knew of him or what.
Not sure.
You know, let's see what the back looks like. Yes, you got 9-volt battery. See right here?
Two of them
Yeah.
on the batteries.
Okay.
Because it's the FX model.
Okay.
One of them is for
Okay.
this one's for the overdrive.
Okay.
Which, if you turn it back over, I'll show you. This button here, when you push it and engage it, it turns your overdrive on.
Wow.
This knob here controls the overdrive. This one is your volume. And these two here, this thing has got delay built into it. and chorus.
How big?
Right there in this circuit. That's what makes the FX model so special. And that's the guitar that I play.
So what's
actually.
this thing worth?
Well, this, if you could even get the wood anymore, just the table that's made out of this wood like this is $100,000. And now you can't get the wood anymore because...
Is it no longer in existence on the island?
Well, what happened is
Continent?
they already harvested everything that come out of the peat bogs. And anything that's left over now,
Yeah.
the government outlawed the
I
sale
know.
of it.
I'm well aware of that, yeah.
Okay? So
Did it to
now
Martin's, they did, I know what you mean.
you have to buy something, they have to make it there and then ship it. And it's so expensive now that, so my deal too was back in 2014, Joe got sick. Well, he actually didn't get sick, he got arthritis really bad in his hands. And he couldn't keep up with the demand, so I had an opportunity at that time to buy the company.
No shit.
Yeah,
He coughed up $1.2 million to do this.
yes. But I was,
Did you play Stratocaster? Did you start out on Strats or
Yeah.
Lesters or what? What did you start out
I
on?
played, you know, like a lot of serious players, I'm a serious player. For years, I was on the quest. Like everybody is, you're looking for that tone, you know. So you think you have the right guitar, and then what do? Well, it must be the amp. So you're chasing after the amp. Well, if it's not those two things, well, it's the pedal. You know, so everybody's searching for tone,
Yeah.
and in reality, and it's not just my opinion, but, you know, what Joe did with his pickups,
Yeah.
they're unlike anything on the market.
Yeah, I've noticed that he puts 2 poles on the E,
Yes.
B, and G.
Yes.
And
But
then
when
he
you bend
goes
the
up on
strings,
D,
there's no
A.
loss of tone.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But now
on
keep
that.
in mind, the wire that he uses too, as you know, when you wrap a wire around that coil, that magnet, every time you go around it one time, that's 1 ohm of resistance.
Right.
Okay? Most pickups have what?
800 just to start for a regular one, and sometimes 1100.
Yeah.
You know.
So you've already got that much resistance in your circuit. You know, so you're like your tone pots and everything else is just, you know, they're trying to widen that frequency
for you,
response.
yeah.
See,
Yeah.
that's what, and with the Lancaster pickups, it's 100 wraps. So there's only
Really?
100 ohms of resistance is all there is.
Okay.
And he also,
that's why it's active like that with the
yeah,
9 volt
and he
battery.
built a special circuit for these, for the pickups. And
I saw that he was
yeah,
through trial and error. I mean,
right,
he said
and
his
it was-
painstaking.
Look, the guy,
man.
that's what impressed me about him. Every day, and before he built the pickups that he has now, he went out in his shop, he bought pickups from everybody, had them brought back to his shop, just took them all apart to see how they were made. And he discovered that the only exception usually was just the amount of wraps of wire, or the thick, you know, a different magnet, or this or that.
Yeah.
It was really, everybody was, and still does, get the same results from that.
You explained the impedance of it, the spread.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell him that
A
story. 'cause-
range. It's a-
yes,
it's a
it's the
range.
yes.
Yeah, it's a frequency response. If you're looking at a graph here, your guitar response on those pickups falls in this area. Lancaster is full spectrum.
Okay.
You get a frequency response that covers the full spectrum. So
Wow.
your tone, which you'll see here in a little bit, is unlike, you know, unlike any. Once I found Lancaster and read the specs on it, because my goal at the time was I wanted to build the best guitars in the world. You know, I could show you some other guitars I built and did, you know, as well as any boutique builder can do. You know, but you're still limited. I was limited to the $3,000 to $5,000 market. You know, that's about all anybody was willing to pay because you
It
could
is.
go out.
That is true for today. You know. Yeah.
So, you know, I knew. But once I had the opportunity, and Joe, his deal was he still had enough inventory left to build 50 sets of pickups. Okay, so that was part of the deal. Not only did I get all of the pickups, but I got his entire guitar collection.
All the wood.
I've got yes, I was able to get enough wood too to build the guitars. And now, like I say, just the wood alone is priceless.
Oh yeah. Oh,
It
yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
And what's even more priceless is the pickups. I can put these pickups on, and he did it just to prove the point. He put them on a milk crate.
Yeah, I saw that.
You see that?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Yes.
I did. Didn't have a whammy bar or something on it.
Yeah, but
yeah.
it was.
I saw
He
that.
bolted the
it
neck
was-
to
it
a
was
milk crate.
Yeah, it was a wooden milk crate.
Yeah.
And there were slats of wood.
Right.
I remember. Yeah.
And that was
Remember.
his point, and that's the point I would make.
Yeah.
You know, tone doesn't come on acoustic. Wood matters. On electric,
Yeah.
I argue that it doesn't matter
Yeah.
because your pickups aren't picking up anything from the wood.
Yeah.
It's a closed circuit.
Yeah.
you
Now,
know?
do you plan on building guitars that aren't made out of that wood that aren't so expensive?
Well, as far as what I'm doing as a builder, the customer has so many choices with what I do. I've got a design for my necks. It's called a quick change neck system, and the guitar, the necks, they're milled and they slide right on two rails that are sticking up like an I-beam,
Okay.
and it allows you to, once you take the strings off, I've also designed it where I can pull the whole tailpiece off and everything, and anyway, you can just change your necks out quickly. And this way, you know, because I thought about most guitar players, they don't like just one guitar, and it's not because of necessarily tone.
I'll tell you what half of the guitar is the goddamn neck.
Yes,
If you ain't happy with the neck,
Right,
you ain't happy with
exactly.
the fucking guitar. That's a fact.
exactly. That's why what I'm going to do for whoever the buyer is, they'll get their choice of however many necks they want.
Yeah.
They want 4 or 5. They'll be designed to fit on the body, and and they're not going to be mounted with screws, so you don't have that. You know,
Yeah, the
Going
fender.
through all that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I'm so old school. It takes a lot to really impress me.
Well, one guy asked him, he
It's
said,
just-
"Can you do, you know, like I ain't a guitar guy, I'm a keyboard guy, but like on the frets, could you put diamonds in there if I wanted diamonds in it?"
sure.
He said, "Yeah, I'll do whatever you want."
I
That's
Right?
think
another
I think Fender did that on their 50th anniversary or something. They put diamonds on it in a headstock or some shit.
Well, another
Yeah.
thing that I'm going to do for my customers is they can get a jewel package with their guitar. So instead of just your standard tuners, these will be real gold.
Okay.
You know, your
Yeah.
fret markers could be diamonds,
Yeah.
rubies, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Same way in here, you could have, I've got I don't know if you read about the Cobra models.
No,
but
I haven't.
Yes, I also have there was only,
So it's just a Strat body style, or are you going with Telly? Or
no, I've got
anything?
Tellys too.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay. And basses, I've noticed.
Yes.
How about acoustics?
No.
Yeah, I thought you had some acoustics.
Well, I
No?
do in my collection, but
Does
I
that,
don't
does
build
that,
them.
does that, the original maker, did they make acoustics?
No.
I found something on the web end.
No.
It's another guy, it said Langford acoustics on it.
That's
Yeah,
Langford,
I- I
he's
know it's
Lancaster.
It's LANCASTER, L-A-N-G,
Okay,
Caster.
Yeah, I
That's
told him
different.
That's
Langford
maybe
was
what you
Lancaster.
was looking at is somebody. No, the only ones he ever built was the Strat and Telly bodies.
Okay. I got another one over there.
That's too much fun.
Oh, well, we just getting.
righty.
Spark amp. Sweetwater. Well, there's some on with it.
I'll stick with my old school stuff, man. I'll stick with my old school stuff, man. I like new stuff on the market that comes out, you know. But I don't know, man. I ain't got that kind of money to put some, and I probably wouldn't play it out. I'd be half afraid to take the thing out. You know
I
what I
promise
mean?
you, I promise you.
You'd have to get insurance before you walk out the fucking door.